Hey everyone, welcome back to Rise into Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soulful Connections. I am so excited to be here tonight with my dear friend. She's actually a really good friend of mine, Wellness Gem, and my chiropractor, Tijana. Hey, Dr. Tijana.
Hi, how's it going, Dia?
Good, how are you?
Doing excellent, excellent.
So, so the viewers, so they understand what's going on here. So Dr. Tijana is actually in Marietta, Georgia. And as you guys know, I go back and forth from Sac Harbor to Metro, like Atlanta, Metro Atlanta area on a monthly basis. But due to COVID-19, I'm home, staying home, being
We all
good.
are.
But at the same time, Tiana, before all of this happened, her and I had a heart-to-heart talk about how I sit at home, how am I aligning myself, and I'm like, okay, Tiana, I got it, and I'm taking notes. So tonight, I thought, since I'm working from home 6 days a week now, why not share this wealth of knowledge with everyone else? So tonight, Tiana is going to share a little bit of everything.
Yes.
So tell the viewers a little bit before about you before we dive into everything.
Okay. So I'm a chiropractor in Marietta, which is the metro Atlanta area. I specialize in working with women, particularly women from preconception through pregnancy, postpartum. I also work with kids and young families in general. So my goal is really to help families cultivate a healthy lifestyle. And so it's not just about the stuff that we do in the office; it's also the stuff that we do outside of the office and all the things that we talk about. So, which is great that you kind of combine the two, and we're doing it virtually like this. So, um, I like a healthy lifestyle has always been my passion. That's how I was raised as well. So moving, healthy eating, all of this kinds of things combined together. So that's what we're here for.
And I love that. So share with us a little bit more on you, because I know you said you work with a lot of women and children, but
Mhm.
also you work with a lot of women entrepreneurs.
Yes, I do. So a lot of I'm really thankful in this whole unprecedented time that we're living in right now, where a lot of people that I see on a regular basis are actually people that work from home, a lot of women entrepreneurs who, I just know a lot of hustlers, which is really, really cool. This is kind of like these are the things that I talk about all the time when it comes down to working from home. Like, how do you make it sustainable? How do you make your chiropractic adjustment last longer? What are the things that you can do on an everyday basis to just really live a healthy and happy life? And that's really where my passion is. So
Yeah, so saying that, what's one of the I know one of the many things that you told me is the way I'm sitting. So
yes.
share with the viewers
So
on that.
I'm not a super great example of that right now. Well, sort of. I kind of like worked on tweaking it a little bit. So one of the big things is because a lot of people are working from home, you're not necessarily set up in your typical office environment, which means you might have a kind of a makeshift workstation. Um, a lot of us are in laptops, and which is great, like for mobility and transport and all that. However, they're not really great when it comes down to ergonomics, which means they don't necessarily help in properly aligning our spine. So some of the things to keep in mind when you're setting up your workstation, at home, is making sure that whatever type of computer you're on, that your screen is at eye level, like the middle of your screen is at your eye level. Um, I always, and Tia knows this, I always recommend a detachable keyboard and mouse. So I don't have a detachable keyboard with me, but I do have my portable mouse. Um, and it just makes a makes a huge difference because like you're not doing all this straining on your neck as you bend over a laptop. So the laptop sounds like it was such a great novel idea to keep it in your lap,
Uh,
but really like you should not be doing that. Like that is not actually how you should be sitting at your computer. So also making sure, like I always for people that can do like the sitting standing kind of combo of things, I have people who will put the computer like on their kitchen cabinet or the kitchen bar
Mm.
and kind of sit it up a little bit higher, so they have an option to stand for a little bit. So the stationary. So that's one thing that I recommend is like make sure you can get up, make sure you can move, set your alarm. I'm really big on like setting the alarm for like little things throughout the day. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, set your alarm for a water break, set your alarm to stand up and move, set your alarm to do some stretches and things like that. So, so those are kind of like little helpful things. When it comes down to ergonomics of like sitting behind a computer at home or otherwise, we always want to make sure we're at like 90-degree angles from our like our upper body to our hands in front of us, which you can't see, to like how we're sitting in terms
Yeah.
of to our hips to knees, lower legs to ankles. So like you want to be at like all 90 degrees and making sure you're practicing the posture because that's going to make a big difference if like when you're sitting in front of a computer all day like that.
Now, when you mentioned earlier about hydration and putting a friendly reminder, what I've been doing is I typically put like a large water bottle right next to my computer. So like I would say once an hour, maybe every 30 minutes, I'm always drinking it to make sure it's right there. Cause I always have my coffee and I always have my water. Because the more coffee I drink, getting so dehydrated. And I know we have to continue to hydrate ourselves and remind ourselves to stay hydrated during this time.
Yes, absolutely. And I always recommend to drink half your body weight in ounces. So I always tell everybody, I'm like, okay, do the math, right? Do the math, figure out what that is. I don't have to know the number. Um, but what you want to do is, and then anything besides water that we take in, you want to make sure that you replenish that on top of it. So it's like the half your body weight in ounces doesn't even count. Like coffee doesn't count, tea doesn't count, juice, alcohol. None of that counts. You have to replenish. If you're drinking those things, you have to replenish that with water as well. So, and I tell people, I'm like, set an alarm. Like, set an alarm every 15 minutes to like
Yeah.
ding you. Like, okay, water break. Um, and because staying hydrated, like, I feel like that's one of the things that people struggle with the most, anyhow. And right now, I feel like it's even worse, just because you're like you don't want to interrupt your flow of things, or if you get up and leave the room, like the kids might see you and you're then
Yeah.
the kids. So it just, that kind of thing. So, but it's still really important. So as we're sitting here, I'm like, I have my water bottle, make sure I can take a sip and all that. So yeah.
I love that. And another thing that I remember that we were talking about the last time I was in town, like the way I'm sitting, even like my posture, like how I'm sitting, make sure I have the right seat, even like the ball. I remember the medicine ball you told me to get.
Yeah, so the Theraball to sit on, that's definitely one of the things that I recommend a lot. And right now, probably I show them this, and I basically tell them like, okay, stick your hands under your bum and wiggle side to side, and you'll feel the bones like pressing into your hands. Okay, there you go. Do it, do it.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. So you should be sitting on your sit bones, like the word says it right there. Um, sorry.
You okay?
Yes, sorry. I
It's
like had a
okay.
clog in my throat. Um,
And it's live. So there's a couple times that we did go in and out. So that's why I'm going to keep asking you questions again.
yes, that's totally fine. Sorry.
No
Um,
worries.
so that's one of the things. That's one of the things you want to sit on your sit bones, and it's actually you will notice if you tuck your tail under, if you kind of sit back and flatten the curve in your low back, then you can't sit on your sit bones. So making sure, see the difference even, okay, so I'm slouching now, right? But if I'm actually sitting on my sit bones, it brings me up a little bit.
I felt that.
Yeah. So sitting on those sit bones will actually keep your spine in neutral, which is really our goal. People will say like, well, sit up straight. Well, actually sit up in neutral. You want your spine to maintain all the curvature in it as you're sitting. And probably the biggest complaint that people will say like, well, it doesn't feel comfortable. Like it doesn't feel comfortable to, to have good posture. And I'm like, well, yes, that is true because you have not been practicing good posture. And it is a practice. Like you literally have to practice it. But after you do it for a while, just like when you practice anything else, you get better at it. And then it's not going to be as uncomfortable. So that's one of the things that I really like to stress. It's like sometimes we have to practice these things, even though they're like little tweaks. But we kind of have to change some of that patterning a little bit.
Now, when it comes, so, with me always being on my computer and always typing away, I remember you told me to get one of these.
Yes.
Because
that's it. So, like when we're typing, we tend to like cut off the circulation in our wrists, right?
Yeah.
Depending on how we're sitting. I'm obviously not sitting like directly in front of the computer. But that's one of the ways, like when you use that, it actually helps fill in this space right here. And that way it will help keep your wrist in neutral, which is really our goal. Like we don't want to do this. We don't want to do that when we're typing. We just want to keep our wrist in neutral. So when you have that padding down here, it helps you rest and it helps you keep your wrist in neutral. And the same thing with the mouse. Like they have the little padding. Yep, right there.
You told me and I listened.
I know. I love that. But it's a great way. It's a great way to take pressure off our wrist when we're typing because, our wrist fatigue, like our whole body fatigues as we do any kind of work. And so kind of keeping them as neutral as we can while we're kind of helps take some of that load off.
Because I've realized, I remember like 2 weeks ago, Tijana, when everything was just hitting the fan, especially with our Atlanta clients, I did so many hours. I'm not even going to say how many hours of work I did on my computer. My entire wrist was burning. And this is before I ordered this. And I was like, What is going on? And then I thought of Tijana. I was like, wait a minute. If I tell her what's going on, she's like, why did you buy that? And I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and buy this now. And it came like 2 days later.
You know how they say, like, work smarter, not harder.
Yes. And it honestly, just me being on my computer between 12 to 14 hours a day, honestly, and just typing the entire time, whether if I'm on my phone or any other mobile devices, doing social media and checking things out, like even doing this.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. One of the things, so you just brought up a really good point. Mobile devices, right? We're on them all day long. And I see more and more kids on mobile devices, especially right now. Things are a little bit, everybody's kind of trying to get adjusted to this like new normal or whatever this is. So one of the things I've been suggesting to people, it's like, okay, one of the things you can do for yourself or your children, you can actually lay down against the wall with your booty like up against the wall, your legs up the wall, and actually have, so like you would be, like if you're laying on your back, you would have your mobile device in front of the face versus what we normally do is it is kind of in front of us and we're like tilting our head down, which causes what we call the text neck. And we're seeing kids like 2 and 3 years old who are having those kinds of issues. So doing it kind of laying down, it helps our legs get some circulation going, and it also helps us like actually keep our device in front of us. You could also be reading a book doing that.
Okay, so let's say this again.
Okay.
My brain's processing this. So just say I stand up. I'm going to do it. I'm going to stand up.
Okay.
You're telling me to go against my wall.
So you want to sit down on the ground.
Oh, sit down on the ground.
You sit down on the ground. You're going to get out of camera shot.
It's okay. They know it's
So,
real.
so you're actually gonna lay your back on the ground with your butt
Oh.
up against the wall and your legs up.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
All right, hold on. So like putting my
Yes,
feet
I
like
see
this.
your feet. Yep, exactly.
This is a workout.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a challenge.
And you know what? So it's a really great hamstring stretch. It is a really great way to stretch out your calves, to stretch out your feet, even
Wow.
even your low back. Yeah.
Let's just say after today's workout with Charity, that helped out a little bit.
Yeah, but
Oh, snap.
it's a great way to like stretch out your body, and then whatever you're holding to like read or whatever is in front of your face versus like doing this.
You know what? I'm gonna do that because that's something with like with Lyle. He remember I told you like he was having some issues. So he does
Yeah.
that. Yeah, like what he does is he lays down and he takes the medicine ball or that ball and puts his
Yeah.
leg on there just to lay his back
Hmm.
down. So can we do that too, using the ball to put
Yeah.
our legs up? Is that this if we're not able to just our legs
If
straight
you're
up? Is
not
that
able to flatten out your legs, yeah,
yeah.
you can totally do that. So you would again lay on your back, like you would lay flat on your back, and you would have the ball, like the big therapeutic ball, and then
Yeah.
you would just kind of like lean your legs over that. Yeah, like you would in with the ball, you would just bend your knees, but yeah, like you can totally do that.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I was like, man, that felt good to stretch everything out, but at the same time, I'm like, oh snap.
So remember the thing that I said earlier about practice?
Yeah.
Like the more you do,
Now, what do you think, being just working from your desk all the time and we're utilizing all the tools that you're giving us? Like, I know that's just a couple tips and you can give us more. What's the best form of action with it? Do you think this is something, um, of course, just say we start it tomorrow. Should we start with like stretching and doing that in the morning? Should we do that before we get to our desk? Or does it, you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm rambling, but I'm just trying to think of what would be the best way of action starting work tomorrow?
so I mean, stretching first thing in the morning is a great way to get your body warmed up, to get it moving, and all that. And usually, I recommend kind of gentle stretches,
Okay.
just to kind of warm things up, to get your digestion going, and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, you can definitely do that. One of the other things, and I have like a whole list of poses I was going to mention to you guys, um, but even like stretches to do at your desk. So you can do these like Yep.
I'm
And
ready.
they're super simple. I mean, like this isn't like people of all abilities would be able to do it. I mean, you're seated, um, and you only do it for like 3 to 5 breaths, so it's not a strenuous thing. But I would definitely, like one of the things that we do, and again, all of these can be done in the morning too. Um, we tend to carry a lot of stress, and right now there's a lot of that going around, especially in the upper body. So some of the things that I recommend are like rolling the shoulders back, rolling the shoulders forward. And not only that, but like it wakes up your cells, it wakes up your muscles, it wakes up your body. Um, so I tell people like, when I'm working with clients in person, a lot of times I'll notice that their shoulders have like crept up. So they'll kind of sit like this. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, first we're going to work on moving them down. So one of the stretches you can actually do is kind of like shrugging your shoulders up as high as you can. And like imagine them as earrings. So like shrug them up as high as you can and then relax them down, kind of like force them all the way down. And then doing that a few times just to kind of see like because when you sit like that consciously for a long time, you're like, yeah, that doesn't like feel good. So it would make actually more sense to like relax them down, make them feel better. Some of the other things I suggest are like just like gentle neck releases. And like I'm not talking about tugging, I'm not talking about pulling, I'm no twisting, nothing. Like literally, like you hold the upper hand just kind of as a gentle stretch, and you're gonna feel it along the neck muscles right here. You're gonna do the other side, And everything that you do, if you do it on one side, you do it on the opposite side as well. Um, some of the other things you can do, like obviously from a seated position, is just a gentle twist. So you would put one arm on the outside of the opposite knee. And so you're going to do just like a gentle twist. You're going to feel it in the shoulders. You're going to feel it in the low back. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
So we're going to do the opposite side. Same thing. Because, we're in these positions. And sometimes
Yes.
when you kind of like try to counteract it, you're like, oh gosh, that's not like super comfortable. One of the other things is like, okay, so you interlace your fingers, right? And then you stretch them up above your head. And then you come forward. And you feel like all that stretching in the back. Also, so like we were talking about different ways to keep our wrist to neutral, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just like simple wrist stretches. Like try to do it so everybody can.
So like, hold on.
So you're gonna point it down, like point your fingers down and stretch. It's gonna stretch this upper part, and then you're gonna go the opposite direction. And obviously, like you do the same thing on both sides.
Like this. Wait, I want to make sure I'm doing it. Yeah, like.
So you point them down. You point them down and just stretch like you're gonna. This hand is going to push toward you.
Like that.
Yep, exactly.
Wow.
And then you're gonna do it the opposite way too.
Heard that crack.
The other one is actually prayer position. It's kind of like what you do in yoga when you do namaste. So you point your hands, you want to stick your elbows straight out. And that's a great, and like you're pressing your hands one into the other. Okay. And then you're going to do this and do the same thing. So it's a great way just to stretch out the wrist because they're not being bent in one way or another. So that's a good way of doing that. So those are some kind of easy stretches you can do. You can do them in the morning. Definitely when you take a break throughout the day, just to kind of get things moving. And you might notice even now that like you're a little bit lighter. We didn't do them quite as long.
I do feel that, but I want to do the finger one because I was, I have Facebook on so people can see what's going on too. So let's do the fingers again.
So interlace them, right?
How many seconds do you do that for? Does it matter? And you just roll it out?
And then you do your wiggle. You gotta do the wiggle. I do that after every adjustment. When somebody gets off my table, I'm like, how does that feel? Wiggle it around. Try it on for size.
Yeah, and you usually make me walk. I feel like I'm walking on a catwalk after.
Oh, yeah. Afterwards, you have to walk down the hall. So those are some great ways to just kind of like wake your body up a little bit, just kind of stretch it out. And I can tell you even now, like, I'm like, oh, that felt really good, like got a little wiggle in it.
Like, I could probably do that 3 times a day, like once in the morning before lunch, or actually probably after lunch is when I get back to my desk, do that.
I would definitely suggest it like 3 or 4 times throughout the day. Okay. Do about 3 to 5 breaths per each kind of position. And just, and one of the things I always say, I'm like, okay, if you get some discomfort while you do it, like take a tiny step back and then try it again. If it's completely uncomfortable and you cannot do it and you have pain that's moving and all that kind of stuff, then stop. Like, it's okay. But if it feels good, like take an extra breath or, kind of like get into it. So it's not supposed to hurt. Like if you have some sort of a shoulder issue or something, yes, it's possible that it will. But like, we don't have to push ourselves past what feels good. So like the goal is to be healthy and happy, and like pushing through just doesn't fit that.
So all of those tips, and I know because I'm a client of yours and you're one of my partner gems and you share it with me all the time. But how can other people know more about you and your community? Because I know that you have a Facebook group, which I love it. It's like Mother's Alignment.
It's motherhood aligned and unfiltered,
There you go.
yeah, aligned and unfiltered. Yes, I'm on Facebook, so facebook.com/healthy being wellness. You can find me on there. I have a website at healthybeingwellness.com. I'm on Instagram. Facebook and Instagram are probably my biggest ones, just because those tend to be the ones that I interact with the most. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm in the Atlanta area. Normally we do a lot of community stuff where you tend to like be out in the community and mingle and all that. Obviously we're not doing that right now.
But share some insights. I know right now that, I mean, you're in the health industry. So do
Yes.
you still see clients?
Yes. So I'm considered, chiropractors are considered essential healthcare workers. So I'm still currently going to the office, and we have some modified hours. We've definitely taken a lot of precautions um, like in terms of like sanitizing and cleaning and all that kind of stuff, like just taking in like 10 steps extra to make sure
Yes.
everybody's staying healthy and safe. So our hours are modified a little bit, and we're going to be adding more online offerings during this time as well. So we're going to be doing some mini classes. We're going to be just doing a lot of different things. This is all new, so we're kind of trying to
Yeah.
do it as we're as it's happening. But yeah, like all of those parts are on there, and I talk about it on my website. Definitely all the social media channels as well. So
And how do you feel during this time with the huge transition, especially being on the front line in your own community and just having that say, like, what can you share about your feelings?
so the biggest thing has been to try to stay as healthy as I can for both myself, my family as well. Um, I'm making sure that I get adjusted to keep my immune system boosted, because with each adjustment you boost your immune system 200%. So
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. And I've been adjusting every month. Well, not 2 months, but you know what I mean? Wow.
yeah, so that's huge. So I make sure I get adjusted. I adjust my husband and my son. Make sure we're staying healthy. Make sure that we take elderberry daily. We take vitamin C, vitamin D. Right now we're spending a ton of time outside, and the weather in Georgia has been like remarkable.
Heard.
It's
I've heard.
like 81 degrees today, and it's
No.
beautiful. So we've been doing a lot of walking. So we're getting vitamin D that way as well. We're like eating a lot of fresh fruits and veggies, making sure we get our green smoothies in, making sure there's like fresh fruits and veggies all day long. So we're doing those kinds of things to keep our immune system boosted. One of the other things that I have been doing is this is like a totally it's not a silly thing. It's like this is what makes me feel good about me and what I can do kind of to control. But I'm making sure that my skincare game is on point.
Yes, again, body. So we just did mental with soul, and now like a little bit more with the body, because your skincare does. I am so with you on this, because last week, Samantha Dickey from Dirty Beauty
Yeah,
Skincare, she
yeah,
said the
yeah.
same thing. So, and I know you were part of the skincare realm too. So that's another part, everyone. So Tijana, not only is she a chiropractor, she has like a wellness community at her practice.
Yes.
So share a little bit more about Beautycounter.
Yeah. So I'm part of the Beautycounter lifestyle. I guess that's the word. But I'm
Yes, you are.
Beautycounter, and that is what all my skincare, my makeup is. And the huge part about it is we're super passionate about making products that are free of over 1,800 potentially toxic ingredients, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like our personal care, makeup, cosmetics, skincare industry is it's not completely unregulated, but might as well be, because the U.S. only bans about 30 ingredients that you're not allowed to put into personal care products. 30, that's 30. And the last time the law passed for that was in 1938.
1938.
Mm-hmm. Like
Wow.
last century. It's like, oh yeah, like it's almost 82 years ago that they passed a law for the beauty. So actually, our CEO, Greg Renfrew, was called to speak to Congress this past November or December about why we need like major reform and why we need advocacy when it comes down to the beauty industry, which was huge. Like they invited her to come speak. But we're really passionate about advocating for healthier laws when it comes down to personal care industry. We're passionate about creating like amazing skincare and beauty products and like other personal care products as well. And that's, to me, that's huge. Our whole family uses Beautycounter products, so it's not just like a mom thing. Like our sunscreen is Beautycounter. My husband uses all the Beautycounter products from Counterman. But I am super excited about my skincare, and because I've had some extra time on my hands, I'm like doing my face mask. I'm doing my peel and all of that. So even today, even though I was home today throughout the day, before we started this call, I did my Flawless in 5 little set.
Ooh, flawless in 5 minutes.
So
Wait, you're gonna have to say it all over again. Sorry.
okay, sorry. So the one thing I like about being part of Beautycounter is the fact that like it is one less thing that I have to worry about. So our personal care products come from Beautycounter, which means as a mom, as a businesswoman, that is one less thing that I have to worry about. I don't have to read the labels because I know that they're free of all kinds of junk. I don't have to worry about if it's tested on animals. They're Leaping Bunny certified. I don't have to worry about how it's being made because I know it's done in a sustainable way. I mean, we're EWG certified, Leaping Bunny. We make huge efforts into sourcing our materials in a really like sustainable and ethical way.
Yeah.
So like that's huge for me, and it's like one less thing I don't have to worry about. Like I won't buy it.
I know.
I mean, I recently went to the store and I had run out of something, and I was like, okay, hold on. And I was with my husband and my almost 3-year-old, and my husband's like, well, we'll just grab it, you know, like we're trying to quickly go through here. This was before COVID, but he was like, just grab it and like let's go. And I'm like, but I have to read the ingredients.
No, that's right. Read it like a recipe.
But like, I have to figure out what's in it. But I'm like, well, this has fragrance. And he's like, I don't even know what that means. I'm like, right, because you don't have to worry about it because you use clean products. So it's one of those things, like as a mom, as a businesswoman, I'm like, it's nice to be able to take off one thing off my plate and be really confident in the products that I'm using and the company I'm supporting. So,
and it's a partnership.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a true partnership.
Yeah. And it goes, I mean, it totally jives with my mission of bringing like a healthy lifestyle to people as well. So that's why I'm really passionate about it.
I love that.
Thanks.
I love it a lot because it comes full circle with you. I mean, that's what rising to wellness is. You're rising into like a mental state, you know, making sure meditative you're okay. And also your body, loving yourself, taking care of yourself. And then your soul. Make sure you're feeding the soul with so much inspiring and positive light that it's not going to bring you down.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I say to everyone about Dr. Tijana is like, I've been going to you for like 5, 6, 7 years. I don't even know. It's almost 10.
It's been a while.
It's been like before Lyle, but like, right, I would say, because Lyle and I have been together for 5 years, so I know it's way before. You've been with me so much. I think it's like 7 years.
I think so. I think you're right.
I think it's like 7 years because I moved to Woodstock in 2012.
Yeah.
So
It's been
no,
a while.
2013 is, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, 2013, because in 2012 I was still in Roswell, rock and roll in there. So
Oh, okay.
2013 I moved to Woodstock, and that's when I met Heather. And yep, it was 2013, so 7 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So with that being said, I am very loyal, everybody.
100%, 100%. I love that.
But what basically the whole moral of that me sharing that is that with Tijana, it's all full circle. I mean, everything she has there is community driven, and you're huge into the birthing network. She's a postpartum doula. I mean,
Yes.
that to
Well,
me, it's and what else?
so I'm a birth and a postpartum doula.
Yeah, birth and postpartum doula
Yep, and a childbirth educator.
and educator.
Yeah.
Balancing act. How do you balance it all? Now that's another question.
I have a really amazing partner. My husband is absolutely the bomb. And he actually, I mean, he works, but he works at night, and during the day he stays with our son while I'm at the office. So it's a team effort. Like, I'm not doing this by myself. And I have an amazing community I can lean on to. I have an amazing group of people around me that love and support on me. So that's huge.
Yeah, and that's what I love about just being a part of like many circles like that is that you do have that community support. You do have the support at home. That's everything when you come when you're rising in wellness. That's awesome, Tijana. It
Thank
really
you.
is. And
Thank you so
now,
much for having me. This is really super cool.
and don't when everything gets better and we're all able to just go and see each other and hug and be like, hey, hug. I will
Yeah.
be seeing you with my camera guy, my cinematographer, and we're going to be doing this most likely with you and seeing it so people can see it and really dive into this because I'm just sharing with everyone. This is just a taste. This is a virtual taste.
Yes. Yes. And it is I'll tell you what, the one thing that I'm missing the most right now is hugs. Like, that is just the one thing that I miss. And I'm like such a hugger. That is like my love language. And there's none of that right now. So I'm like,
But just to let everyone know, for you to tune more in with Dr. Tijana, check her out on her social media channels. If you're interested in Beautycounter, definitely check her out on that too. And if you live on the East End and you've been to several of my events, you've noticed, probably seen Dr. Tijana's card and the mixture of our inspirational totes. You've probably seen her
thank
information in
you.
there. And I know we talked about Goop because we do have Goop out here, and you mentioned
Mhm.
using the code for Beautycounter there. So Beautycounter is known with great brands across the border. So it's not just something online. You also have a
Yeah.
consultant like Tiana or like Goop that you can go to, like when things get better, you can go to and actually get to see the product, feel it. So
Yeah, we have several physical stores. Like, one is actually in New York City. I think they have one in Nantucket. There's one in Boston, Denver, and LA. Um, right now, they're doing some virtual consulting,
yes,
but
like yourself.
yeah, absolutely. So if anybody has any questions regarding Beautycounter, you can touch base with me through my website. I can help be a personal shopper. That's like a great way to, deal with quarantine time, right? A
Yeah.
little retail therapy.
Yeah.
Um,
Support local,
yes,
supporting local.
yeah. And I mean, that's one thing that I really like is like shopping with Beautycounter. When you're shopping with a consultant, you're shopping with somebody in your community or somebody, a small business, which is really, really cool. So, and Beautycounter is doing some really amazing things to help support their consultants during this time, which has been very, very generous. So,
That's awesome. That makes my heart just like, oh, I love it
I
so
know. Well,
much.
our CEO is one like badass. I mean, like female entrepreneur, like no other,
I love
and
that.
really has like worked really hard on kind of creating this community of consultants that are doing amazing things. So I'm excited to be a part of that.
Oh man, cheers to you, Tijana.
Thank
Cheers to
you.
you. And I'm so excited to dive deeper throughout the season and then bring you along board with other things that we're going to be doing. So I know that you're part of our Reason to Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul mini retreat series,
Mhm.
and we postponed it to the fall.
Okay.
So if you are going to the retreat with us, if you're one of our guest, because we have like 8 ladies that's joined us. If you're one of the ladies that are actually watching right now, Tijana is actually one of our body experts that you will be virtually talking to
I mean, you know,
one-on-one.
who knows?
So
I
you
might be
never know.
ready to
Hopefully she
bust
can
out of
come.
here. Right?
Hopefully she can come with us to Shelter Island. And if she does, you get to meet her face to face and talk to her. So I'm really excited that we get to bring you more out here virtually or
Thank
even in
you.
person. So, but
Thank you so
until
much.
next time, everyone, make sure you continue to savor with us, stay home, and embrace your mini moments, because this is your time to just really embrace you and in your journey. And if you have any questions, email us, check out savortv.com. The website is being updated, so you get to see our savory guests like Tijana and get in touch with her that way. So until next time, everyone, stay safe and be well.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.